When somebody says to you, I'm feeling a bit anxious, do you assume that you know what that means? One of the things that's really interesting about anxiety is while there are bits and pieces that we all experience the same, for each person, it can be a very different experience. For somebody, it might just be a very physical feeling. It might be a pain in their stomach, that a feeling that their heart is racing. It might be temperature changing. It might be feeling like muscles getting really, really tight. It might be the head racing. It might be feeling like you can't speak, like you've got cotton wool in the mouth or your mouth goes really dry. So there's lots of different ways that anxiety can show up. Or it might be in a more quiet way that you feel like you don't know what to say, or like you're really retiring and isolating, and you're removing yourself from things and things just feel overwhelming. Or maybe out of all of those things you actually can't put your finger on it at all. So if somebody manages to focus on it and work it out and say, actually, this is anxiety that I'm feeling, it's time to check in with that person. That person has been quite brave to name that it is anxiety. So if somebody says to you, I'm feeling quite anxious, it's not always about drilling down and finding out, well, what is that for you? But instantly, maybe kind of saying, where do you feel that in your body? And sometimes that takes the focus off the head piece and focuses down and gives us that moment to be present with it. And in that moment, then that allows us to maybe see, do we have control over it? Can we move it and shift it in a little way? And the next question then is to ask, what would help right now? Because quite often, when we're in a place that's difficult, or we know that something is not as we would like it to be, we have an idea how we would like it to be. So sometimes we know, well, maybe I need a little bit more space, or maybe just stay on the phone and talk to me about something else, or, maybe I need to step outside and do something different. Quite often we do have those answers, but in the moment of that anxiety and that feeling of panic or overwhelm, we forget that we have the answers. So the gift that we can give somebody who is struggling with anxiety, and that could be ourselves. So please don't forget that. In those moments, remind ourselves that we can say, what would help right now? That is one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves, for each other. And it's an amazingly simple thing. It isn't about having an answer. So I'd love to know, what would help you to get to the point that you can ask somebody what would help them.